Wait a minute, there's Max Lewis. Okay, let's have Max come down here. John, I'm going to ask you to back out, and Max Lewis is going to make our way over here. Max has been up inside that courtroom for the better part of a half hour, and of course it was just a few minutes ago that we saw and we heard the escort vehicles, Richard Allen's escort vehicles. So Max Lewis is going to join us. He was able to get a seat in that courtroom. Max, what do we know?
Okay, it is guilty. Guilty on count 1, count 2, count 3, and count 4. Count 1 and 2 are those felony murder counts committed in the act of kidnapping, right. And then count 3 and 4 are the murder counts. So he was found guilty on all of those. You could see, obviously, automatic relief. You could hear it from the Patty family and the Abby's family as well, and obviously devastation from the Allen family, who I was sitting right in back of, who immediately began to cry. Richard Allen, notably, didn't really have any sort of reaction to this that I could really see. He was, just pretty stoic for the most part. He even said at one point that he was, I saw him mouth something to the effect of, it's okay, or are you okay, to his family. I'm not exactly sure which one, but we do know guilty on all 4 counts here.
All right, let Max catch his breath while I recount this for you. There are 4 counts. 2 counts are felony murder. That is, you committed murder during a felony, which was abduction. 2 counts are straight up murder. Each count carries a potential sentence of 40 to 65 years. Now, in a case like this, a lot of times these are sentenced, but they are sentenced to run concurrently. That means you don't stack them. There will always be, during the sentencing, aggravators and mitigators. A mitigator would be Richard Allen has never been in trouble before this his whole life. An aggravator would be he cost the life of 2 young women. So Max, tell me about how long you were in that courtroom and what was going on in that courtroom, and then gradually as the jury filed in.
So we get in there, we're let in, we're sort of one of the last people. We get in there and the courtroom is completely quiet, filled with police officers, sheriff's deputies, sort of lining the whole back of the room. We get in there, the families are already seated. Richard Allen's family came in last, and then the jury was brought in. The jury had all of their things because presumably they are going home now. So they came in, the foreman read the verdict out loud, and then the defense asked for a poll of the jury, and one by one we went by each one, said, Judge Gall said, "Is this your verdict?" And they said yes.
Okay, tell me, who's the foreman? Or we don't know the name, but describe for me.
The foreman is juror number 11, who sat in the back row, middle-aged man. I believe he said he was a father during jury selection. Yep.
Okay. All right. So they go through, obviously, the alternates were there. They don't get to take part in this.
Correct.
So as you're watching the face of the jurors and their verdict is being read, do you see them giving a glance or a look over towards Richard Allen and vice versa?
Not particularly. I wasn't in the best position, honestly, to see the jury's faces, but each one of them, said when they were polling the jury, said their verdict. Some of them a little bit more quieter than others. Obviously, we know this went on for quite a while, so maybe there were some switch up in this, but we don't really know.
Were you sitting behind the families or off to the side?
I was sitting in the back of the courtroom behind the Allen family, on the side of the defense team, in the very back seat there in the corner, so I could see the families' reactions.
So as you sit, you can look diagonally over there across that little aisle to the 9 seats, and there's 3 rows of 9 seats. So tell me about the reaction. We know Becky and Mike Patty, the grandparents of Libby, they've been very much out front of this. Abby's parents have been here. Tell me about the various reactions you saw.
Yeah, they, Becky Patty, who is Libby's grandmother, who we know has been a very forward-facing figure in this investigation. She was crying even before the jury was brought in or anything like that, but they immediately broke down in tears, happy tears is what I would assume, because they finally have the justice that they have been looking for, apparently. But then after the Allen family sitting in front of me just threw themselves forward immediately. Another notable person in the courtroom is Doug Carter, State Police Superintendent.
We saw
Doug
him
Carter.
going in.
Yeah, and he was at the in the very front row, right behind the prosecution. And him himself, we know he can be quite an emotional guy, and I could see he was putting his hand in his face and crying. I presume he was crying when that verdict was read.
What is the reaction of the people on the other side of the bar? You've got over on the left side, you've got the prosecution team with the detectives, and on this side, you've got Richard Allen and his 3 attorneys. Tell me about the reactions you saw.
Yeah, so the prosecution, I should say Judge Gall warned everybody before this, do not have any outbursts of any kind or you will be removed. So I think everybody was a little bit stoic even when the verdict was read, especially the defense team. You could just tell it in their faces that they were extremely disappointed in this outcome. However, afterwards, after Mr. Allen is brought out, you could see all of them hugging one another. They were hugging the families were hugging one another. And then also on the Mr. Allen's side, his defense attorneys came out. They were hugging the family members. I did hear at one point one of the attorneys say to them, it's not over. So that may signal what we expect to see.
Allen dressed in civilian clothes?
He was dressed in a purple plaid shirt with khakis, very similar to what we've seen him through all the days of this trial.
Well, while you were in there and we spotted Doug Carter going in, it was during our live shot, perhaps going on 20 minutes ago now, when we heard sirens, and that indicated to me that his escort vehicles left. We had spent all morning, all day, watching those escort vehicles, which tells me they snuck him in here earlier this morning when nobody was paying attention.
Yeah, Mr. Allen must have had to have been here. He was sitting in the courtroom when I walked into the courtroom, which is not normally how court has been going. Normally he's sort of brought in after everybody has settled down, but he was brought in there. The jury was obviously taken out first and presumably is going back to Fort Wayne where they were picked. Then Mr. Allen was taken out and then everybody else after that.
Was Allen in handcuffs when he left the room?
He was not in handcuffs. He was taken out just as he has been every single day of this trial.
Escorted by 2 sheriff's deputies from Carroll County.
Yes.
So, what did the judge then say to the attorneys about where this process goes from here?
So we just did discuss sentencing dates, and I'll give you one here. They said sentencing is going to be set for December 20th at 9 a.m. Is what she set that at. The probation department has to do a pre-sentence report on Mr. Allen. The local Carroll County Probation Department is not equipped to do that, she said. So she's been in contact with the Allen County Probation Department, and they will be doing the pre-sentence report on Mr. Allen. They'll obviously, give some insight into how the judge is going to make her sentencing decision.
Okay, at some point the judge says, basically, we're done here. She and the bailiff leave. Then
Yes.
what goes on in the courtroom, what conversations, what is going on in the courtroom behind everybody who's left behind?
Yeah, so after that, that's sort of when those celebrations took place, when the, Becky Patty, Mike Patty, basically all of Libby's family goes around, hugs each member of the prosecution team, hugs Jerry Holman, who is the state police investigator lead on this. So that all of that hugging is going on in celebrations. And then obviously on the defense side, they're sort of commiserating, for lack of a better word, and crying and sort of holding one another.
Well, this is Baldwin's truck right here, so we saw him get out of this truck and head up there with Arjur at one point. Before you were able to come out, somebody came out in that group of about 50 people on the sidewalk over there. We heard some cheers, which of course I didn't know how to read because there are so many pro-Richard Allen people over there. I couldn't tell what those cheers were in favor of, but we were made aware by one of our compatriots that there were members of the victims' families who couldn't even get in the building.
Yeah, that's right. It was, just to get, I was lucky to get in the building myself. There are very limited seats. There is a certain allotment to each family and to members of the media. And so I was able to get one of those final seats in there. But yeah, it was a packed courtroom, and everybody was really trying to get in there. But yeah, I heard those as I was coming out. We were strictly told do not run out of the courthouse. So there was a lot of enforcement, a lot of rules, more rules today than we're normally used to. But yeah, I heard those cheers as we were walking out the door. So, but it's extremely divisive, and we know that over these past several weeks, there are a lot of people who believe Richard Allen is innocent. There are a lot of people who believe that he was guilty. And obviously the jury sided with the guilty people today.
Well, this isn't going to be a surprise to anybody, but I was struck last week when I heard this first uttered in court by Judge Fran Gull in a back and forth. It was friendly with Andrew Baldwin, the defense attorney, because she's never said this out loud. And Baldwin was talking about making a motion, this is before the jury came in, talking about making a motion on third-party suspects. And of course, the defense team thought that third-party suspects may have been involved in the kidnapping and the murders of these girls. And she said, well, go ahead and file that because when you appeal this, it'll be clear that you filed this. And for the first time, I heard the judge say, even though it was a confidential, quiet aside in the courtroom, she was acknowledging when you appeal this. So I think it's a foregone conclusion that the attorneys are going to work on this and this conviction is going to be appealed.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they felt as though, I think the attorneys have felt repeatedly that they have not gotten a fair shake from Judge Gall. They've asked her to remove herself from the case multiple times while this has played out. So yeah, I think that is a for sure thing, and it goes along with what I heard one of the defense attorneys say to the Allen family. This isn't over yet. So I think it's for sure headed to appeal at this point.